Hi my loves, and welcome to a very special 24-hour readathon. I am so excited for this. I have known about this for the past week or two, and I have just been so itching to do this and share it with you. If you follow me on Bookstagram, you probably know what this readathon is. If you don't, I am participating in my very first, and I think their very first, 24-hour readathon with Tandem Collective. So if you follow me on here from the start or follow me on Bookstagram, you know I do a lot of read-alongs with Tandem Collective. I just absolutely adore doing them. It's sometimes a push to read a book that's out of my comfort zone. I also feel, strangely enough, that when it's done in sections with your prompt cards, I read it quicker than probably if I didn't. I also like the fact that I get to speak to new bookstagrammers who I might not even know. There's some that I do know from previous read-alongs, but it's nice just to meet new people, and the discussions we all have about this book's lovely. And it's also lovely just to see everyone's different take on taking a picture of the book and their reviews. And I can certainly say that a few bookstagrammers from read-alongs, I've taken a lot of their inspiration of their book pictures and sort of implied it into my own, just to make it a little bit more standouty. But yeah, Tandem Collective is doing a 24-hour readathon. I don't know whether this is their first or they've done it before, but it's the first that I'm ever doing it, and it's a very special one because we are celebrating good old Stephen King. So as if you're a big Stephen King fan, you know he's recently just celebrated his birthday, and to celebrate Stephen King's birthday and just the man himself, we are doing a King for a Day read-along / readathon. So there is going to be two lots of ones for this. So there are read-alongers who are all reading one of these 7 novellas that we have. So some are reading one book, some are reading another novella, and they've got like a couple of days to just read this book and answer all the prompt cards. So we have that lot. That's not me though. I am the one who gets to read these 7 novellas, and I have 24 hours to read them. Yeah, 24 hours to read 7 books. Now I think it's doable because, you know, they aren't long. I think the most that I saw was over 250 pages, which I actually think is this one. The rest are 200 or less. And, you know, I feel like if I knuckle down and don't get myself distracted, I probably can do it. But yeah, so us lot, the 24-hour readathoners, we had 24 hours to read these 7 books, or as many as we can in those 24 hours. But alongside that, we've got challenges to do, we've got prompts to do, we've got like little things for everyone else to participate in. So we have a bingo, or Kingo as we like to call it, which is this, and we can join in and do it and just put a book that matches one of those things and see if you can complete the bingo board. But it's also for everyone else to sort of participate as well. We've then got all of these challenges. So if we can complete all of the challenges, or at least do one of them. So these challenges involve reels and all stories like that. Now, I will be totally honest, reels can take me from 30 minutes to an hour. It is not something I'm very good at. I know what I want to do with it, but it's like the transitions. Sometimes my transitions are really awful. Sometimes they're really good, or sometimes they're a little bit too fast. But I'm slowly getting there. So we do have these challenges which involve a lot of reels. So as much as if I get to read these really fast, I do have to answer all these, complete these challenges and these questions. So obviously it's going to take my time doing that, but I'm really excited. They are really fun challenges, and it certainly is one of those things that makes your creative juices come out. And a couple of people have already done some of them ahead of the readathon, and I'm like, oh, because there was a couple I didn't 100% know what they meant, and then I saw one of their reels and I was like, that makes sense, I understand what I need to do now. So yeah, we've got challenges, we've got the Kingo board, we've just got normal prompt questions that you have in the read-alongs that you do anyway, but this is just going to be extremely fun. So a lot of my stuff the actual interactive stuff will be on my Bookstagram because that's where it has to be. But I also wanted a vlog list with you guys just because I think it's going to be a perfect thing to put on my channel. And yeah, so this vlog will more focus on my actual thoughts and reading these books. And I may like sort of answer some of the prompt questions in like my little review up. But if you want to see all the challenges and the creative stuff, then it will be on my Bookstagram, which is Let's Escape with Books, but all my links and everything down in the description box. But on to the books. These are the 7 books, and I'm very excited. They all sound good. So I actually put a poll up on my stories last night because I keep changing my mind on what books I want to read. Like the Langoliers sound really good, and I must admit I was really itching to read this first, but I sort of think no, I know I'll probably enjoy this just because it's my kind of book. Some of the others in these books I'm like sort of thinking ooh, like it's intriguing, but like it's not my usual sort of go-to book. So I put a poll up, and it literally is between 2 books. It was between The Mist and Shawshank Redemption. So I have finally decided to do one of them and then read the second one, the other winner second. So going through the books before I tell you which book it is. First up is we have the Langoliers, which is, I'll just give you a little mini synopsis. The flight attendants were gone, almost all the passengers were gone. Brian Engel was willing to bet the 767's 2-man cockpit crew was also gone. He believed Flight 29 was heading east on automatic pilot. So it's sort of, by the sounds of it, from what I've gathered, it's a bit like time travelling. It's got some spookiness in it. It's also possibly like maybe a little thriller involved. So yeah, you've got that one. Very excited to read. Next up is we have The Sundog, and this sounds absolutely creepy. So this is like the book where I'm like, I really do want to read it, but I'm also a little bit nervous by it. So it says, it's mine. That was what he had thought when his finger had pushed the shutter button for the first time. Now he found himself wondering if maybe he hadn't got that backward. So apparently Kevin Delivan wants only one thing for his 50th birthday, and that's a Polaroid Sun 660. He gets it, but there's something wrong with the gift. No matter where Kevin aims the camera, it produces a photograph of an enormous, vicious dog. And basically, every time he takes a picture, this dog is getting closer and closer and closer, and it's looking like it's coming through the Polaroid. It says here, when old Pop Merrill, Castle Rock's sharpest trader, gets wind of this phenomenon, he devises a way to profit from it. But the Sundog, a beast that shouldn't exist at all, turns out to be a very dangerous investment. Yeah, when I've looked this up on Amazon, it says it's like a horror and things like that. So I'm a little bit like, ooh, I'm nervous, but I also think it's very good. Like it's sort of, it says here, it's a metaphorical story about King's own personal fears. So yeah, I'm really intrigued by this one. I'm just a little bit like, oh my god, am I gonna really freak out? Next up is The Mist, which was one of the books in the poll I put up, and it was literally neck and neck with this and Shawshank Redemption. So this says, a man staggered into the market. Something in the fog, he screamed. So basically, it's following a freak storm, and David Drayton, his son Billy, and their neighbour Brent Norton joined dozens of others and head to the local grocery store to replenish supplies. And basically, this mist emerged, and it's another spooky book. It says the exhilarating novella, which was the basis of a major motion picture for Frank Darabont, explores the horror in both the enemy you know and the one you can only imagine. Now, I think I may have watched the movie or something. This sounds familiar, so I don't know whether I watched the movie ages ago or what. I can't remember, but it does sound familiar. But I really like the sound of this, and I think I'm gonna thoroughly enjoy it and get creeped out at the same time. And you're going to see a theme here. Next we have The Body, and this is the iconic coming of age story filmed at Stand By Me. So we all listened to Ray Brower's story. He was a kid our age. It's a small town of Castle Rock turning into the news of a young boy who's gone missing from a nearby town. So yeah, it sounds like another sort of like thriller. It says it's an exploration of friendship, loneliness, and adventure adapted to the classics 1986 film Stand By Me. The Body is an unforgettable coming-of-age story by Mass, the chronicle of small town adolescence and universal experience. So again, this sounds familiar. I don't think I've watched it. However, A couple of these, the movies are on there, so I might, once I've read the books, actually maybe pick one of the books and watch the movie. We'll see if I've got time to do it, and there's that. Then we have 1922. It says, I believe there's another man inside every man, a stranger. This is, so writes Wilfred Dreams in his confession. It's 1922. Wilfred owns 80 acres of farmland in Nebraska that have been in his family for generations. His wife Arlette owns an adjoining 100 acres. But if Arlette carries out her threat to sell her land to a pig butcher, Wilfred would be forced to sell too. Worse, you have to move to the city, but he has a daring plan. It may work if he can persuade his son. So it says, a powerful tale of betrayal, murder, madness, and rats. 1922 is a breathtaking exploration into the dark side of human nature from the great American storyteller Stephen King. I don't like the fact that there's rats involved, I'm not going to lie, but this sounds good. It's where they all sound good, to be honest. Next we have Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption, an iconic story of hope and friendship filmed as the Shadow Hank's Redemption, which again is another film I wouldn't mind watching. It says, there's a guy like me in every state and federal prison in America. I guess I'm the guy who can get it for you. So we've got a new convict, Andy DeFresnay, who wants two things from fellow prisoner Red: a small rock hammer for carving stones and a giant poster of Rita Hayworth. And so begins the mesmerising tale of unjust imprisonment, deep friendship and offbeat escape. Yeah, this one's one that I don't think explains much to me, but yeah, I'm very interested, and this is the first one I'm going to read. So it literally was this, between this and The Mist, and so I got my readathoners that are participating, so I said, like, guys, it's neck to neck, which one? And they all said Shawshank Redemption, so that's what I'm starting with. And now nasty, we've got apt people, be careful what you learn. You must realise that your fate and my own are now inextricably entwined. Todd Bowden is an apt people, good grades, good family, a paper route, but he's about to meet a different kind of teacher, Mr. Dussender, and to learn all about Dussender's dark and deadly past. A decades-old manhunt Dussander has escaped to this day. Yet Todd doesn't want to turn his teacher in. Todd wants to know more, much more. He's about to face his fears and learn the real meaning of power and the seductive lure of evil. This just really does sound good. I'm actually really excited for this. This is 248 pages. So this is the second longest. The longest is the longest over is 260 something pages. The rest are all like under 200 or on 200. So yeah, we're starting with Shawshank Redemption. I'm extremely excited to read all 7. Can I do it? We shall see. But yeah, I'm going to be featuring between here and Bookstagram. Bookstagram will have all of the challenge content and creative content. Here it will be more me reading it and my overall thoughts, and possibly answering some of the prompt questions that's going along with it. But yeah, I'm so excited to do this. It is going to be a good challenge, and I really hope I can literally blast through it. So it is 24 hours, so technically it would be, I'm just going to start this at 11:30, so I technically should be 11:30 and finish on Sunday at 11:30, but I'm not going to do that purely because my daughter will be coming home on Sunday from her dad's, and obviously there'll be hours of me doing mum stuff, also like in between sleeping and taking breaks in regards to lunch and dinner. So I decided that I'm going to do it and end it when I go to sleep, just so the hours that I do miss I actually make up for it anyway for making it longer, so I will get the full 24 hours in regards to reading. So that's how I'm doing it. But yeah, we're going to start with Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption. It's a short one. Let's see what I think. I'm going to now go and make a coffee and start this. So I will catch up with you when I finished. have a bit of a book update. I finished Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption. Absolutely love this. I do quite like reading books that are about prisons and convicts and just like how life in prison is for them. So I absolutely adored this book. I like the fact that it's Red's point of view of a friend of his, which is Andy Dufresne, and like, you know, this Andy's character's like wrongful conviction because he was actually innocent, his revenge, and basically how he escaped the prison. But it is an emotional, heart-wrenching book at times. It's so powerful, and it's full of hope and friendship and basically what it means to be free. Like, we don't realise how much freedom we get when we're not a convict, and these people in prison, some of them aren't actually guilty, they've been wrongfully things, and you know, sometimes they will end up having a new judge and things come out, and then they are released because it's evidence to say that it actually wasn't them, but then it's too late because they've been serving nearly a life sentence and all of that. This is just a fantastic book. I absolutely adored it, and I desperately want to watch the film. So I think once I've finished all of these books, or as many as I can, I'm definitely going to start watching some of the films just to compare the book to the film. But yeah, 5 stars, adored this. And the next book I'm now going to read is The Mist, as this was the other book that was was both the same amount of people voting for. So this is going to be my next book. So I'm going to start some of it now. But I think my dinner's going to be ready soon as well, so I will read some of it, but probably will have to take a breather because it'll be dinner, and then I expect my daughter to ring too. But I'm very excited for this. It feels like this is going to be a bit of a more creepy, spooky atmosphere for this one, but yeah, I'm excited regardless. So yeah, I will catch up with you when I've finished it probably, or if I've got some like immediate thoughts to tell you. ~1, and I finally finished The Mist. I've gotten extremely distracted. I've just finished my second book, and Saturday's gone. We're in Sunday now, and I've got 5 more books to read. This is what happens when you get distracted, and it wasn't even distraction on my phone. It literally was watching stuff. So I asked Lefty saying I was going to start this, but I was just about to start it and my dinner was ready. Didn't like my dinner, so I ended up having something else. So I managed to read like a third of this book before my daughter rang, and then I spent 20-30 minutes on the phone chatting to her, and then me and my mum sat down to watch Strictly. I did read and watch Strictly, but then my mum decided to put Everyone's Talking About Jamie on, and I really wanted to watch it, so I ended up putting this book down and not reading it. And then once it finished, I picked it back up and finished the last like half of it. This to me is not one of Stephen King's best work, in my opinion. I just felt this was really far-fetched and stupid. I genuinely don't get it. Like, 1 minute, like, a freak summer storm happens, and then the next, this big load of mist, like, all of a sudden appears, and at first people just think it's, like, a weird, like, mist, like, you know, is it, like, climate change, things like that, and then all these weird creatures come out and pretty much wipe the human existence near enough. There are, like, horrors that, like, you know, in some sense you could maybe possibly believe, but this just to me was just really stupid and nuts and bizarre, and I just felt it was very far-fetched, and I thought, really? I'm sorry, this is like completely unbelievable. It's just like someone's worst nightmare. So yeah, if I'm going to be totally honest, I just didn't enjoy it in the fact that it just was, to me, stupid. Like, it was gripping, and don't get me wrong, I wanted to know what happened, and I like how it actually ended in a way where you make the decisions. So it didn't end like they all lived happily ever or people saved them or anything like that. It actually ended like in so David he found a walkie-talkie in the supermarket. They were all barricaded in, and he managed to get one bit of frequency on it, and someone said a name of a town and hope. So the end of it was with one word. He doesn't know whether like it's safe or not, but he's going to try it. And basically the end of it was he snuggled and kissed his son, his 5-year-old son, and he whispered to him in his ear 2 words which sound a bit alike. So one of them was Hertford, the other is hope. So it ended like that. So it sort of ended in a way where you can make your decision, like, did they go to Hertford and there was no mists and they could live, or was it a complete farce and the whole world is just being wiped out of its existence? It's like up to you. Like, I didn't actually notice that the cover actually suggested what the book was about. It didn't register. But yeah, I just felt it was really far-fetched, and I also didn't particularly like the way women were portrayed in this, especially this elderly lady who was very much religious, saying that God's punishing all of us because we're sinners and all of that. Like, no one liked her, and don't get me wrong, I wasn't overly fussed by her, especially the fact that she was saying that they needed to do a sacrifice, like a human sacrifice, and then the world will be back to normal. And so she decided that the sacrifice had to be the little boy, which is David's son, who's 5, and I was like, no thanks. But I just didn't like how she was portrayed. She got hit, and a lot of people called her "see you next Tuesday," which I'm not overly bothered by that word. I do say it to certain people who deserve that swear word, but still, like, it just, it was constantly, she's a, I just thought, ooh. And a couple of the bookstagrammers who's doing this readathon with me, I've said that a couple of his books are a bit, like, his portrayal of women isn't overly nice as what it's like when he talks about men. But then we all agreed that in Carrie, he really did get female teenagers' emotions like that. Like, he really understood it. So I think maybe it's just like the characters in the book, maybe, I'm not sure, but I certainly noticed that in this. But yeah, I'm gonna give this 3.5 stars. It just wasn't my thing. I just felt it was really silly, and I was just like, really, like, this is just like a silly, someone was high, thought they'd write it down kind of book. That's how I got from it, in my opinion. So finished that. I am caffeined up. I had a little nana nap today, so I am going to stay up as much as I can until I really can't stay up any longer and read. So I'm going to now pick up and read Langoliers. The Langoliers. It's very hard to say. This is the longest book. It's 305 pages. So this was probably the next one of the books that I actually really wanted to read, to be honest, because it sounds quite interesting. So I'm going to see... to be fair, if I can knuckle down and finish this now, like, read it in one sit and finish it before I go to sleep, then that would be fab, because the rest of the books are short, and I think I can really knuckle down and do it. Lock myself here. I might even put a lock on my phone so I actually don't go on my phone until I've read the book. But yeah, this is the next book I am going to read. I'm not actually 100% sure whether I'm going into this book with it being like a horror or what. We will see, but I know it's to do with like an airplane disappearing. But yeah, this sounds really good, and I'm intrigued, so I'm going to knuckle down and read that and hopefully finish this, she says. So I will, if I can, I will catch up with you and tell you what this is about. If not, I will catch up with you in the morning instead. But yeah, take care. So I didn't do any reading last night, not because I didn't want to, purely because by the time I completed the prompt questions for the Mist and did one of the challenges for the Mist, it was 2:45 and I was absolutely hanging. I just could not keep my eyes open. I thought, oh, that's not fair. Like, I wanted to stay up and at least read another book, but whatever. So I went to sleep, decided to set my alarm for 8:30, thinking, right, I'll get 8:30, read until like 11 and get ready and then do more reading. So I set my alarm. I did wake up on my alarm. I went for a wee. Did I actually carry on staying up and reading? No, I went back to sleep. I was tired, and I was just sort of also thinking, my daughter comes back later on today, and I know for well she comes back and I'm absolutely knackered. I'm either going to fall asleep or I'm going to get a headache or something like that. I thought it's just not fair on her coming home and I'm like, I'm too tired to play, or I'm going to bed sort of thing. So it's 11:15. I'm going to do some reading. I basically am going to try and read all of the short books as much as I can and go from there. Like the Langoliers, I cannot say that. The Langoliers is the longest book, so I'm leaving that last. If I read all of the short ones and get to that, then and read that. Like, to be fair, as long as I if I can finish all of my books before midnight tonight, then I've done it. But we'll see. But I've decided not to read Langliers just because it's longer, and I know it would probably take me longer, and then it might just be, by the time I finish that, I might have just read the 3 books, and I don't want to do that. So I decided I'm going to read shorter ones, and I've gone with The Sundog, just because this sounds very creepy. It's all about personal fears. It's got a little bit of a creepiness vibe to it, which I'm going to read now purely because it's daylight, and I'm thinking I'll be okay with it. But yeah, this just does sound very captivating. I'm like, ooh. I don't get me wrong, the others do too, but the other 3 shorter ones to me are more like thrillers and murders and stuff like that, and I just want to see what Stephen King can do with his like horror stuff. So yeah, I'm going to read this, and then next up I think I'm going to read At People. But yeah, this is going to be my read, so that's what I am knuckling down to do now. From now on, I am not letting myself get distracted. I'm going to read my books, do the challenges and the questions, and read again. I'm not going to like mess around. I need to try and get through all of these books. Like, I really want to. So yeah, The Sundog is about basically this 50-year-old man wants a Polaroid Sun 660, and every time he takes pictures, an enormous vicious dog appears, and the more he does, the more the dog gets closer in the picture, sort of thing. It sounds really good, so that's what we're going to do. So I will catch up with you when I'll either do like a midway point and tell you if I'm enjoying it or not, or if not, I'll just tell you once I've finished it. I just read the first chapter of this and I'm loving it already. So I don't know whether I've been saying 50th birthday or 15th, but Kevin Delavan is celebrating his 15th birthday, and his parents got him the Polaroid Sun 660. So he goes and takes a picture of his parents and his sister, and once the Polaroid, or does what it does, I don't know what the word is, the picture is of the dog, and the parents freak out, Meg freaks out, they drop the camera. Basically Kevin starts taking loads and loads of pictures, and it's the same picture, and like the parents are like, oh, it's just like a joke. They've obviously played a joke and all that, but Meg, his sister's absolutely obsessed with horror movies, and the horror movie stuff that's been mentioned in this book I love. Like, you've got Chucky. They were talking about what was the other film? We were talking about Chucky and like other ghost movies and stuff like that. It was just really cool. But yeah, so Kevin's decided to keep the Polaroid camera and not return it because he's in agreement with his sister that it's like a manifestation of the supernatural. But like his dad's like, even if that was true, it's a dog outside. But obviously more comes to it. But I'm loving it already. I'm just like, oh, like the first chapter really gripped me. I wanted to know more. So yeah, I'm loving it already. So I'm going to continue on reading. Hi. I finished The Sundog and I absolutely loved it. It was amazing. Like, I am not going to lie. This, at the minute, is my favourite novella so far. And it is my favourite King book I've read so far. Now, I haven't read that many King books to, really compare. But I love this. Like, I really can see why he's king of horror, and like, this was just fantastic. Like, from get-go I was gripped. I wanted to know what happened. It was suspenseful, it was creepy at times, it was so atmospheric. Like, I felt like I was there. I felt like I could hear all of these noises and like all of the goosebumps and things like that. Like, I genuinely felt I was there going through this all. I do not think I'm going to look at Polaroid cameras the same way again. I don't think I'm ever going to pick up my Polaroid camera that I got, because I certainly do not want to see a dog in a picture. The cliffhanger, my god, probably one of the best cliffhangers I have read in ages. Like, this was just brilliant. Like, I was like, is there another book? Like, is there another book, guys? Like, is there? Like, if there is, please let me know, because I have no idea. I don't think there is, but I need to know if there is, because if it is, I want to read it. Like, I'm kind of wondering whether, like, Cujo is to do with this. I might be wrong. I think I'm wrong. But love this. Easy 5 stars. If I could give it higher, I would. Like, fantastic. And I'm glad I read a book that like was brilliant, because The Mist for me was a flop and I was just like, oh god. But no, this was fab. I'm glad I picked it up. I was a bit worried about picking it up because I thought I'd be creeped out, but no, I was creeped out. There was a few moments I was like, oh, I even had a little bit of a jump because my parents came home from food shopping and slammed the door and scared the crap out of me. But yeah, an absolute brilliant book. It does definitely concentrate on fears and like, you know, possession, ghostly things, paranormal, supernatural stuff. It was perfect. Loved it. I can see why people love King's writing, because it's so suspenseful, it's so atmospheric. You just feel like you're there and you just cannot put the book down. You need to know what happened, and that was certainly me. Like, I felt like I flew through this book quicker than I would have. Loved it, absolutely loved it. And I'm now going to read The Body next. My daughter's just come home, so I'm actually like just happily playing with the doors at the moment. So I was like, Alice, I'm just going to do a video. I'll be back in a minute. But yeah, so I'm going to read The Body, but obviously she's home, so I might get a little bit distracted of that. But at the moment she's quite happily playing, so I might be able to read while she's playing. But love this. Brilliant book. Highly recommend. And yeah, I can see why he is a pro at his books. Morning. So I've managed to read 2 books since I've last spoke to you. So I last spoke to you, I was reading The Body. I finished that last night at, I have no idea what time, I can't remember. It was a complete flop for me, guys. This was horrendous. Like, I genuinely do not understand why there's a book about what this is about. Like, what was the point? Yeah, I just thought it was unnecessary. Like, I'm not gonna lie, a few parts of this book I just skim read. I just was like, I don't get it. It is literally a group of kids that aren't overly nice to one another. They've all got some shitty backgrounds, all quite neglected by their family, not very nice to one another either, and they find out there's a dead boy's body and they go and find it, and their journey to it has all these things, and then I just thought it was awful. I thought this was such an unnecessary book, and the fact that how much I loved The Sundog by King and thought that was fantastic, this was like, yeah, nah. Like a lot of people, because I put my opinion on this on the group chat with the other readathoners, and you know, a lot of people say they love this book, a lot of people say they love the film, and I'm like, I don't know why you do. But yeah, read that. It's a 2-star. I'm sorry, it's just like, it isn't a DNF, but it was awful in my opinion. But then I picked up 1922. I stayed up till 2:45 in the morning. It's a school night as well, because like it was school on today to do the school run, and so I've been awake since 5:15. And I only went to sleep at 3 o'clock, so I'm hanging and I need coffee. But I read this. It was really, really good. It sort of, to me, is a book about guilt and what happens to you once you've done such a awful crime. So basically, Wilfred, or Wilf, he's having a massive big fight with his wife in regards to acres. So she's got 100 acres of this like farm bit they own, and he owns 80, and basically she wants to up and leave, but obviously he has to say yes to, like, they basically were saying to sell their acres to get money to move. Wilf is absolutely like, no, he's not a city boy, he loves the farm and all that, so he refuses. And like his son, I forgot what his son's called, Henry, or Hank as he likes to be called, he doesn't want to move either, and so Wilf uses that sort of thing to plot his wife's death. So Hank was sort of, no, I don't want to, but the eve of the murder, basically, I'll let his mum and Wilf's wife was horrendous, slapped him, and he super was like, no, do it. And so they murdered her. Well, the husband murdered her, but obviously Hank didn't particularly do anything. But since that thing, Wilfred just like is just gone crazy. Hank has gone into a complete different child. Like, he's like, what, I think he was 15, 14, I don't know how old he was now. His son was a teen, but basically his son then started sort of acting differently. He got his like girlfriend pregnant, and they kept it quiet, but then she started showing at 5 months. The girlfriend's parents shipped her off to this like women's school, like in some sense like a boarding school thing, and so the plan was she would give birth and then the baby would go to adoption, but neither she nor Hank wanted to do that, and so Hank runs away and gets his girlfriend out of this thing. They run off. They then start robbing banks. Hank starts shooting. He ended up, I think, killing 2 people or more, possibly. Someone shot his girlfriend. Obviously, she was dying. She was losing the baby too. She died. He put a bullet through his head, and bam, he's gone. And then Wilfred's obviously completely full of guilt and everything. he's starting to see his wife's ghost. There's rats involved because the rats started eating her in the well, and like he's constantly sees these rats now, and basically it ends with like him in a hotel and he's being eaten by rats, which are like force them to do. But by what I'm guessing is actually he just went stir crazy in his mind and just ate himself. And in that sense, it's really good. It does show you like the madness and like what grief and what like murder and what that does to you. And yeah, like in the end, Wilfred should have just sold his land, because he ends up absolutely nowhere. He's lost his son. All that happened with his son, like, people died because of his crime, because it's made his son into a criminal himself. It was very interesting. It's not a full 5 stars for me. I've given it 4 stars. I did like it, but it was sort of a bit like I'm kind of like shocked how Wilfred got away with it all, because generally like he must have got rid of his because he ended up living in Omaha, which is the one place he didn't want to move to. He's in a hotel room and he doesn't live in the farm, and the land's all sold. So I genuinely am like, how has no one dug up the body? But yeah, apart from that, which I thought was a bit far-fetched, I did enjoy it. So technically, Readathon has finished, because it's like obviously it was just for 24 hours, but a lot of us, I think all of us, haven't actually finished the 7 books. So we are all gonna like continue reading, because obviously we want to, and like that. So I have At People and the Langoliers left to read. So I'm going to read At People next, and then this last, because this is the chunkiest book. But a couple of people have already read these 2, and they said they're very good. And they've sort of said that I probably enjoy it because of the books that I have enjoyed. This is very like similar in that sense. So going to do that. But I also do have to finish them quite quickly today, because I do have this to finish, because it's Bookathon, it's my book club, and also I've actually swapped this book with someone on the Facebook book group thing, so I need to finish this today to post tomorrow. I've then got Concrete Rose, which is there for Bookathon, and then I've got other books that I need to read, tour books as well. So I am going to keep this vlog going all through Monday today, and then end it. And hopefully I'll be able to read these 2, because if not, then I'm going to keep this vlog up and do it, but I don't know whether I'll read them today or what. I have things to do. I've got tons of books to package up to post today. I've got a book that I was meant to review yesterday and I didn't do it, so I need to read that because I completely forgot. So this vlog will carry on so I can finish these 2, but it might not. It could be like so many days later, but we'll see. But yeah, I managed to read 5 books in 24 hours, and so far in that 24 hours of doing it, my favourite book was definitely The Sundog. I absolutely loved it. But yeah, I will continue doing this vlog so I can finish these all off, but whether I would do it today or whether it'll be like quite a few days later and then do it, we'll see. But you will know, because I will let you know. But yeah. Hiya. So it's been a day, but I have finished At People. I finished it yesterday. But it was late at night and I've been busy. I didn't like it. I'm not gonna lie, I skimmed through this book quite a bit. I just didn't care for the main character, the boy Todd. Like, he's just like a teenager, like a young teenager, and he just gets quite nasty, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the character. I just kind of felt, was this book really necessary? It was just someone, just like a young boy being mean to an older man. Okay, maybe this old man has some like pasts, which Todd finds out, and so I felt it was unnecessary. I didn't enjoy it, unfortunately. So this is another 2-star book for me. I must admit, I think I prefer, at the minute, like the books that I've read in these novellas, I think I prefer his horror creepy ones, which is just surprising, because I thought I would be like, no way. But no, I think I prefer them because it's really good writing by him, in my opinion. So yeah, 6th book down. I've just got the Langoliers to read, and then I've read all 7 novellas. I probably won't pick it up tonight, just because I've got to finish a tour book that I'm literally got like about 10-15 pages left to read, and then I need to read one of the tour books on my Kindle, and then I'll go back to reading that. But yeah, that's the last book. But the actual like readathon's ended, but I want to read all 7 novellas, so then I can do like one massive big review of it all, and also like still put it on my stories, because there were 7. I can't just do the 5. So yeah, I will try and read some of the Langoliers tomorrow if I can. If not, I'll certainly do it before by the end of September, before October comes. But yeah, I've read 6 books and now on to the 7th, so I'll catch up with you on when I've read it or if I've been reading it and like my thoughts of it so far and all that. I'm excited for this one. I think I'm going to enjoy that. I hope so anyway. But yeah, I will update you when I can. Hi guys, so it's officially the end of my Stephen King vlog. I'll be honest with you guys, this is like a good few weeks after the vlog even finished, but I was trying to squeeze my last book in, but I never got to do it, so never mind. But I did manage to read 6 of the 7 books for this readathon, and there was 2 outstanding books, which you could probably tell, and some books that I was like, really. So The Body, 2 stars. Really thought this was unnecessary. I did not like any of the characters. I didn't also like how horrible these parents are. Like there's a lot of neglect and abuse going on. I also did not really like the fact that they found this boy's body, knowing that it's part of this investigation and all that, and they never did anything about it. They didn't go to the police or say anything, and it narked me. I thought, really? But yeah, I just didn't vibe with this, so this was 2 stars. Also 2 stars was Act Pupil. I could not stand this book. I'm sorry, I hated it. Like honestly, I was so close to DNFing it, but I thought, no, I want to read it and it might pick up. I just really did not like the character Todd. I thought he was horrible. I did not like the other character that he was sort of tormenting, which I understand why he did what he did, but again, it just to me was unnecessary. It's not, compared to some of the other books that I read in this readathon, I just genuinely, this was a flop, and I just thought, what was the point of it? So that was 2 stars. 3 stars was The Mist. Now I did enjoy this. The only reason it's not got any higher is I genuinely just felt this was so bizarre and far-fetched and really unbelievable. Like some of his other stories I've read, I kind of can sort of feel it could happen, but this just, it was also like this mist just all of a sudden appeared for no reason about it, and then we've got a massive humongous octopus with suckers that are massive sharp knives. We've got big weird pterodactyl bat things. We've got massive spiders. It just, nothing about this book explains the reason why it got there. It just appeared out of nowhere, and I just thought, really? I also really did not like the cheating that happened in here, compared to with this main character absolutely devoted to his wife. I was disgusted that he cheated on her, especially not knowing whether she was alive or dead at that point. I also did not like how Stephen King writes about women in this book. It was very degrading and nasty, and I was a bit shocked at how he portrayed women in this. It's not just me, a lot of my other readathoners that joined in agreed that this wasn't the best in regards to about women. So given this 3 stars because it was entertaining, just I felt far-fetched. Then I read 1922, really enjoyed this, gave this 4 stars. I really liked how you work out how a murder can change you. So for one person who did the actual murder, he was full of grief and loss and absolute guilt, and so he committed suicide, whereas his son, who sort of was an accomplice to it, didn't actually do it but was there, covered it up, he actually went completely on a rampage. He became he started stealing things. He then killed a few people while he was stealing things from banks and that. So it's sort of entertaining to see how 2 different characters coped with this massive big thing they did. So yeah, 4 stars for that. And the next 2 books are 5 stars, and they're my ultimate favourites. So Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption, absolutely love this. I love books about prisons and how inmates cope with it. So this already I knew I was going to enjoy, but I did really enjoy it, and I certainly want to watch the movie to see how the movie compares to this. But yeah, 5 stars, loved it. And then surprisingly, The Sundog. Absolutely loved this. I was so worried going into this book because I thought it was going to be really creepy because I know what King's books like, and it did give me the creepy element, but it was fantastic. Yeah? Yeah, absolutely was shocked at how much I really enjoyed this book. It was just atmospheric, it was creepy, I could not put it down. I breezed through this in about 2 hours. It did not take me long. Yeah, love this. I'm not sure whether this actually is a movie or not. If it is a movie, I definitely want to watch it. But yeah, this was by far my absolute favourite, and it's so far, I haven't read that many, but so far this is my favourite King book. This was outstanding. So yeah, I managed to read 6 books. I still need to read the Langoliers, which I will do eventually, but I don't know when. But I did it. I did 6 books in 24 hours. I think that is really, really good. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. Take care. I'll see you again soon. Bye.